What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are going to continue our coverage over the 2018 Catwoman series as a way for us to basically get caught up on the series before we dive into the Dawn of DC. Because right now, with the Dawn of DC being a fresh start for DC Comics, I still want to make sure we have everything covered and basically get caught up on the series before we dive into the Dawn of DC for Catwoman. Now, with that being said, though, the first overall story arc was actually written by a person or a lady known as Joelle Jones. Now, I really feel bad because in my earlier videos, I did not mention her name because she's also the artist for some of the books and also the main writer of the series for the first 21 issues. And honestly, I love her artwork. Like, while I was reading this series, like rereading old books, but also reading new books I have not read yet, I was realizing how much I love the artwork. And honestly, I must say, the artwork is actually amazing. So, Joelle Jones, you did a great job on this series as a writer, but also as an artist. Now, with that being said, though, this is actually her last story in the series, which is Catwoman number 16 through 21, which she does wrap up her whole idea of moving Catwoman away from Gotham and putting her in a new city called Villa Hermosa. Now, as soon as Selena Kyle had arrived in this city, she was confronted by a new cast of characters, good and bad. But on top of that, though, she basically been having a hard time adjusting because she also began to take care of her sister, Maggie. Now, Maggie is her little sister who's right now kind of mentally and physically disabled. And the reason why, because Maggie saw her boyfriend or husband, I forgot which it is, basically get killed off by Black Mask, and then she was forced to eat the eyeballs of her boyfriend. And so, of course, that right there made her mind just completely shut down, which honestly would make anybody's mind just completely shut down. Either way, though, Selena Kyle moved to Villa Hermosa for a fresh start, but to also take care of her sister. But on top of that, though, she also has been dealing with a villain known as Reina. And as we go through this book right here, I will explain everything you need to know before you actually dive into this story, because there is a lot of previous content you need to know before actually diving into this storyline right here. On top of that, though, I will basically put a description down below for the playlist of this series to make things even easier for you to follow along so that you know everything you need to know before actually diving into this video right here. Now, the way Joelle Jones actually starts off this story is actually very interesting because we actually do pick up with Catwoman actually defeated. And of course, she has been defeated by a group of zombies who are right now working for Reina. Now, remember, guys, Reina is the main bad guy of this series. Now, if you're wondering how in the world she has 3 zombies working for her, well, we are going to work our way to this moment, actually. But we actually do see that Reina and the 3 zombies and Catwoman are right now near a Lazarus pit. Now, the Lazarus pit there's many of them actually, but when it comes to the Lazarus water, it's something that Ra's al Ghul uses, or Ra's al Ghul, all determines how you pronounce his name. Either way, though, Ra's al Ghul does use the Lazarus pit as a way to kind of make himself young again. Sometimes could bring him back to life, depending on the story and the writer. Now, with that being said, though, at the moment, we do see that she had used the 3 zombies right now to actually defeat Catwoman. Now, if you're wondering who is Reina, let me explain. So, Reina has been the main bad guy of the entire series so far. She was this young girl who basically hated her life, and so she moved in with a rich family, then killed off that entire family to inherit their money. Then she married a politician to make sure that she keeps the rich life in her life. Now, thanks to her having so many different kinds of surgeries, her facial appearance got really messed up. But at this point right now, in our last story, she was trying to find some kind of elixir. And this elixir was going to bring back her son Adam, who died in the first story. Now, she was able to bring him back to life, but he came back to life as a zombie. Now, she got this elixir by some random lady who was actually guarding an artifact. Come to find out, that artifact that she was guarding had half a map. Once you have both artifacts and got the complete map, you got the ability to find different spots for this elixir around the world. Well, we kind of find out these different spots for this elixir is just Lazarus water. And so Reina and Quill began to go around the world to basically find more samples of the Lazarus water. And all of that's important right now. And so it seems like after she found a location to go to, she went to a location with Adam, her dead son, and apparently 2 other people. And it seemed like Selena Kyle was trying to stop her, but of course she failed to stop her. Now, you would think that Joelle Jones would actually go back in time and then build her way up to the moment we saw where basically Selena Kyle was defeated by 3 zombies and Reina Krill. Instead, what you have Joelle Jones do is actually move forward in time, several weeks forward in time, where we actually do see Selena Kyle right now going to a particular house, really a mansion. Now, when she does arrive at this mansion, she realized it's a child's party going on at this mansion, which we can tell that Selena does not like at all. Either way, though, as she goes to the front door and rings the doorbell, she is then confronted by the wife of the person that she is looking for. Now, we can tell right off the bat that this is a lady who basically just wants to be a trophy wife. She does not care about her husband. She does not care about her child. She only wants to be a trophy wife and just enjoy the easy life, because she's very upset that she actually had to plan her own child's birthday party, which honestly is kind of messed up. Now, she thinks that Selena is actually there for the party, but in reality, though, Selena is there for her husband. And so you do have Selena being able to kind of sneak away to find the person that she's actually looking for. Now, you do have Selena being able to find the person that she's actually looking for after she has snuck away from the party, which is Jack Geddes. Now, Jack Geddes is only going to be important for this section of the story. Either way, though, the reason why she was looking for Jack Geddes is because Jack has information on where Reina Krill could actually be at. Because remember, this takes place after the Lazarus moment we saw. And so right now, it's her saying, I'm looking for Reina, and I know that you know where she's at. So go ahead and give me the information I need to basically find her. Now, at first, you do have Jack not wanting to give her that information, but this is Selena saying, I already know you know, so let's stop pretending that you don't know, because actually you do know, and I want to know, so go ahead and tell me so we can both know. And so you do have Jack actually tell Selena, okay, listen, after getting tortured by you for a good moment, here is the information that you're actually looking for. Now, I want to also mention that basically she had tortured this man while everybody else was enjoying his child's birthday party. But they couldn't hear him get tortured because the room they were in right there was basically soundproof. Now, we actually jump back in time, but we jump back in time to the point after Selena was just defeated by the 3 zombies and Reina, where of course she's laying next to the Lazarus pit. Now, while she's laying next to the Lazarus pit, well, that is the moment she is confronted by a random cat. But this cat is trying to give her a sign. And so you do have the cat walk away, but the cat walks towards the Lazarus pit, trying to tell Selena something actually very important. Now, the next moment actually does jump back in time, but we actually pick up where our last video left off at, where you had Selena Kyle going to a random mansion. Now, when she went to this mansion, we had no idea what mansion she went to, but we kind of find out that this mansion is actually the mansion that belongs to the Creel family, Reina Creel. And she went there looking for anything that could help her find Reina Creel. Except when she got there, she was confronted by a hologram of Lex Luthor. Now, this is actually a tie-in to a DC event that was going on known as the Year of the Villain, where basically you had Lex Luthor going around the DC universe trying to recruit different villains of different heroes to basically join his side and to help him complete his ultimate goal, which honestly I am not even going to try to explain in this video. Either way though, right now he's coming to Catwoman because originally she was a bad guy. Now, over the years in DC Comics, she had crossed that line so many times. She's a good guy, she's a bad guy, anti-hero, good guy again. But right now it's him wondering, okay, you can no longer ride that line anymore. It's time for you to actually decide what you are going to do. Are you going to be good or are you going to be bad? Because right now it's time for you to actually decide. But then we jump back to the moment right after Selena Kyle was defeated by Reina Creel and her 3 zombies, but she laid there next to the Lazarus pit, and you had a cat try to give her a sign. A random cat appeared and say, hey, follow me. And of course, the cat was trying to tell her, get into the Lazarus pit because you have been badly injured. And this is actually very important because when it comes to the Lazarus pit, a lot of people assume that basically the pit has the ability to bring you back to life. Yes, but no. It can bring you back to life, but not completely. Now, if you're badly injured or you're an older person, it can basically heal your wounds or make you young again, but it can't bring you back to life completely. You're more like a zombie, and that seems what happened earlier. The characters who were with Reina Creel were basically brought back to life somewhat by the Lazarus pit. Now, with that being said though, because you have Selena right now going into the pit, she'll be okay because she was only badly injured, not dead. And so when she does go into the pit, she does get completely healed up again, and she's ready to go and chase down Reina Creel. Here comes the big problem though, because while she's in the pit trying to heal up, well, back in Villa Hermosa, her new town that she was kind of watching over, well, in the sky, Carlo, somebody that she has been staying with, sees a symbol in the sky. And that symbol is a symbol of doom. Because again, this was a tie-in to the lovely event known as the Year of the Villain. But again, though, I'm not really going to sit down and try to explain everything about the Year of the Villain because honestly, it has almost nothing to do with this storyline. And so as we jump into the second chapter, it does jump between 2 different settings where you have Selena Kyle still talking to Lex Luthor about the idea of she needs to basically decide if she's going to be good or bad. And then also the second setting where you do have Selena Kyle going into the Lazarus pit, hoping that basically it'll be able to heal her, which of course it does heal her. But I really want to focus on the Lex Luthor and Selena Kyle conversation because really it is Lex Luthor saying you have to choose if you're going to be good or bad. And the way you're going to choose is by letting me hand you the map that is going to give you location of where Reina Creel went to. Because Reina Creel did go to a Lazarus pit, but there are many Lazarus pits around the world. And so it's Lex saying, I know which one that she went to. And I can give you the map that can actually take you over to where she went to. But you have to decide to be good or to be bad. Now for Selena, it's kind of like, okay, if I go be bad, that means I'll probably just leave Villa Hermosa and go back to Gotham. But being good means actually stopping Reina Creel, making sure that she does not go through her ultimate plan. Because you do have Lex also tell Selena that Reina will be the end to Villa Hermosa, that she will bring destruction to that city. So, if you're going to be good, take this map, find her, stop her, and save your adopted city. On top of that, why in the world would you want to go back to Gotham for? But then you have Joelle Jones actually give us a conversation that takes place right after Selena and Lex Luthor had their conversation, but right before Selena confronts Reina Creel at the Lazarus pit. But this section right here is really more of Selena wondering, why should she go back to Gotham? Why is Gotham so important to her? And what she says is that when it comes to Gotham, it made her. It gave her life. It made her into the person she actually is at the moment. But on top of that, though, it gave her so many different stories, good and bad. More bad than good, but there were some good moments in Gotham. Now, it also gave her a lover, which of course was Batman. And she said to herself that when it came to her and Batman, she finally felt like she had something in her life that she cared for so much. The love for Batman. She did not want to lose him nor the love she had for him. But of course, thanks to Gotham, it took their love and then she had to leave. But then she realized that maybe Gotham may took her love away from Batman, but she can get it back because she somewhat still cares for him. She wants to be with him. And so it's her kind of realizing that maybe she should go back to Gotham for Batman. Now, after she had that moment to herself, she does arrive at the Lazarus pit. And of course, we now know that this takes place before she was defeated at the Lazarus pit, where she does basically see Reina Creel and Adam arrive at the Lazarus pit, but with two other people, Detective Yilmaz and also Reina Creel's doctor or assistant, Finnick. Now, of course, you do have all the characters right now kind of studying the Lazarus pit because of them, they're kind of like, you know what? We thought it'll look different, somewhat greener. And that tells us right off the bat that this is a different kind of Lazarus pit because it's really blue. And most time when the pit does show up, it is usually green in comics, TV shows, and movies and video games. Either way, though, you have Reina Creel actually kill off both Finnick and Yilmaz right then and there. And then she has her son Adam throw both the bodies into the Lazarus pit. And so that's how she had 3 zombies with her. The other 2 people were killed off by her and then thrown into the Lazarus pit and they became zombies. Now, while you have Selena watching all of this, well, of course, she was caught off guard by Adam. Adam found her and began to attack her. And so because she was caught off guard, that explains why she was so easily defeated by the 3 zombies and Reina Creel. And so after that section right there, you do have Selena Kyle give us a quick rundown where she says, hey, you know what? After I was caught by Reina Creel's zombie son Adam and was defeated by him and the other 2 zombies, I was left there next to the Lazarus pit where, of course, I went into the pit to heal up my wounds. And then I made my way back to Villa Hermosa to begin to look for Reina. But of course, I had no idea where she was at. And so that is why I went around and began to ask anybody who actually knew her where she could actually be at, which explains why she was at that child's party earlier, because Jack may have information that could have helped her find Reina Creel. But of course, she tells us that all the information that she was gathering was not really helping her that much. And so she needed some kind of shortcut to actually find Reina Creel. Now, you do have Selena Kyle actually go to a particular magic club. Now, as soon as she went to this magic club, I knew right off the bat that who she was trying to recruit. And of course, the person that she is trying to recruit is Zatanna. Now, Zatanna is an actual huge fan favorite to DC fans out there. Like, DC fans love this character a lot. And so it's Selena Kyle asking Zatanna to help her out to find Reina Krill. Where, of course, you have Zatanna tell Selena, oh, yeah, I knew that sooner or later you would be here to basically ask for my help. You do have Selena Kyle actually tell Zatanna why she's here for. She said, hey, listen, I could be out there every night in Villa Hermosa asking every single person who could have information for me on where in the world I could actually find Reina Krill, but that would take too long. So why would I do that when I can come to you and ask you for a favor to help me find a shortcut into finding where in the world Reina Krill is actually at? Now, you do have Zatanna actually tell Selena that she'll actually help her out. And the reason why that she is going to help out Selena is because she does owe Selena a favor. Now, we have no idea what this favor actually is, but it is Zatanna saying that because I do owe you one, I'm going to help you find out where in the world is Reina Krill. But we have to deal with these guys who basically want to beat me and you up right now. Now, the next section is really more of Selena Kyle and Zatanna working together to actually stop this group of men from beating them up. Because these group of men were actually sent here by Reina Krill to make sure that they don't find Reina Krill. And so you do have our two ladies actually working together to defeat these group of men. Now, I do want to mention that while you have these two ladies working together while they're fighting against this group of men, they do basically make a bet. And the bet is that whoever takes out more guys than the other person, then they get a free drink from the other person. And so that's the bet right there. I don't know why I mentioned that. To me personally, it was kind of funny because they're kind of like, hey, if I take out more, you owe me a drink, or if I take out more, you owe me a drink. And while they're beating up these guys with no magic and no whip, they're basically making fun of each other's dating lives, which honestly was kind of funny to me. But at the end of the day, we do see them working together to actually defeat the group of men. Now, we actually do jump back over to the pawn shop. Now, remember, the pawn shop is actually owned by Aunt Linda. Now, Aunt Linda is not the actual aunt to Selena Kyle, but she's a very close friend to Selena Kyle. And basically, Selena Kyle has been living with Aunt Linda and Carlos in one of their bedrooms upstairs right above the pawn shop that Aunt Linda actually owns. Now, the reason why I'm telling you all of this right now, because we actually do pick up with Carlos. And Carlos does work for Linda at this pawn shop, but also a close friend to Selena Kyle. But right now, he's also taking care of her sister Maggie while she is away. Because remember, Maggie is physically and mentally disabled at the moment right now. Either way, though, you do have Carlos trying to text Selena Kyle like, hey, when are you coming back here? No one has seen you. Not Aunt Linda, not me, not your own sister. Like, where are you? And on top of that, the city is getting worse. Like, basically, you have riots happening all over the place. Now, these riots could be because of what Reina Krill is actually doing right now in Villa Hermosa, or because what's happening right now with the lovely event known as the Year of the Villain. Because even this issue, by the way, this is the third issue we're in right now, was a tie-in to that lovely event that DC was doing, where Lex Luthor had this master plan, which again, I am not going to sit down and try to explain, but it is Carlos saying the city is falling apart and I'm worried about you. Where are you, Selena? And of course, we do know where she's at right now. She's actually with Zatanna fighting against this group of men who are clearly hired by Reina Krill to make sure that they don't find Reina Krill. And so the next couple pages does continue the fight you have with Zatanna and Catwoman fighting against a group of men, where of course they're actually able to defeat the group of men, and now they can finally sit down and discuss how in the world will Selena Kyle find Reina Krill. Now, after the battle, you do have Selena and Zatanna have that drink because, again, they made that bet. But while they're sitting down and talking to one another, you then have Selena ask Zatanna, okay, first off, why do you keep saying that I owe you one or you owe me one? What did I do for you in the past to make you say that you owe me one? And that is why you're helping me out. And of course, you have Zatanna tell Selena that, hey, listen, you know what? That is another story for another day. But then you have Zatanna give Selena something that she can use to actually help her figure out how in the world can she find Reina Krill. And so you have Zatanna give Selena a rabbit foot. And she says, use this right here. It will basically help you when you need it the most. But for right now, it's basically useless. But don't worry, down the road, it is going to be very important in helping you finish something that you're trying to finish, which is trying to stop Reina Krill. But then we jump over to Carlos, where right now you do have Carlos actually talking to Maggie. Now, remember, guys, Maggie is the sister to Selena Kyle, who's right now mentally and physically disabled. But this is Carlos thinking that Maggie is right now very concerned about her sister, Selena. And so you have Carlos trying to talk to Maggie, saying, like, listen, don't worry, I'm pretty sure that Selena is going to show up very soon. And when she does, everything is going to be okay. But then he begins to hear noises outside the pawn shop. Something or somebody or group of people are trying to break into the pawn shop, which is actually very concerning. Now, getting into the fourth chapter, we actually do pick up with Carlos and Maggie, and this is the section where we actually learn what's happening right now at the pawn shop. What kind of people are actually attacking the pawn shop? And we kind of find out it is a group of zombies, which means that Reina Krill was able somehow to turn more people into zombies, and now they're attacking the pawn shop that is owned by Aunt Linda, but right now it's just Carlos and Maggie. Now, while you have Carlos right now trying to basically figure out what in the world can he do to protect him, but also to protect Maggie as well, he's wondering, where in the world is Selena? Because right now they need her to help protect them. And so right now we see that Selena's just jumping from rooftop to rooftop, enjoying the night, but she'll be there very soon because, hey, she has to be there to protect her sister. But getting back to Carlos, though, with Carlos realizing that right now he has to do something to protect him and Maggie, you have Carlos actually put Maggie inside a closet and say, hey, listen, I know you don't talk at all, but this is one of those times where I really do hope you do not regain the ability to talk, because if you do, they're going to find you, and I don't want them to find you. And so then you have Carlos get padded up. He grabs a sword. He's all like, okay, I have to do my best to protect this shop, to protect myself, to protect Maggie until Selena is able to actually get there. And so the next few pages is really him just trying to fight against the zombies who are basically breaking into the pawn shop. Here's the thing though, when it comes to Carlos, he's not a fighter. We saw that earlier in earlier videos where anytime he's in some kind of situation where he has to fight, he can't fight. But right now he has no choice to fight, to basically protect Maggie from this group of zombies at the moment. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really thought Carlos was going to die. I really thought that because it's kind of like, hey, it's a hero thing where you make new friends or you meet some different people and then something always happened to them because you're a hero or some kind of villain. And so with that being said, when Carlos was fighting against the zombies by himself, I really thought he was going to die. Luckily for him, Selena Kyle does show up and begin to actually help him defend the shop, and also him and also Maggie, who's right now hiding in the closet. But while this fighting scene is still going on, I still had this thought process of, oh my God, they're going to kill Carlos. They are going to kill Carlos, and this is going to suck. And matter of fact, at the very end of the fight where Carlos and Selena think that everything is okay now and they can finally relax, well, that is the moment somebody comes behind them, another zombie, and that zombie is about to grab Carlos. And I was like, yep, there goes Carlos. He's about to die, but then somebody else saves Carlos. And the person to actually save Carlos' life is Aunt Linda. Remember, Aunt Linda is the one who owns the pawn shop. But on top of that, though, she's the one who takes care of Carlos, who lets Selena move in upstairs in the room that was vacant upstairs. Either way, she comes in the last second to actually save Carlos from being killed by another zombie. But then I realized, oh, they're not going to kill Carlos. They're going to kill Aunt Linda. And so right then and there, you see Aunt Linda actually get stabbed. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, they're about to kill off Aunt Linda. This is horrible. And so this actually leads into a very sad moment because now you're talking about the idea that Aunt Linda might actually die right now. Now you do have the paramedics actually arrive. And when the paramedics do arrive, they're like, hey, listen, she has a fighting chance. Like, she might actually survive this, but we have to get out of here right now and take her to a nearby hospital. Now, you do have Selena try to talk to Carlos, and that is where you have Carlos just snap. And the reason why he does snap, because to him, this is all Selena's fault. And he says, look at you. This is your fault. She got stabbed. You play around with our lives like we're just toys. Like basically we're nothing. You just use us when you need us, but you don't actually help us. And look what happened. Now Aunt Linda could possibly die. You disappear for weeks without any kind of notice. You left your sister here, and then basically I, Carlos, had to take care of your sister while you're gone. Look at what you did to our lives. And now I might lose the one person who actually took me in after my parents died. And so it's Carlos saying, get out of here. Just leave us alone. Leave me and Aunt Linda alone because you ruined everything that basically you touch. And for Selena, that's her life story. Like everything she touches, it gets ruined. Batman, for example, their love life got ruined. Before Batman, her life was ruined. And now after that, this right here, another thing in her life ruined. Now, before this right here, a lot of those things in her past were not her fault. But again, to her, it's kind of like another part of my life just got ruined. But then we jump over to Reina Creel. Now, when we do that, we do see Reina now talking to two new people who basically work for her. Either way, though, we do see her right now watching what's happening right now in the city, which of course is just complete chaos, which is something that she wanted to happen in Villa Hermosa. She wanted complete control over the city. She no longer wanted to basically have to look beautiful or anything because she's afraid what other people would actually think of her because of her appearance. Because now with everyone being under her control, and not everyone, but most of the people being her control, she's kind of like, yes, I got what I wanted now, which is that now when people look at me, they just see me. They look past my horrible appearance and my face. Now, with that being said, though, she does tell us that she has been using the Lazarus water to kind of give her the ability to kind of control the zombies in Villa Hermosa. Now, I want to say this right here. The zombies we have been seeing so far are people who have died, but she has brought back to life and making them help her complete her goal, which is bring destruction and chaos to the actual city. And so right now, it's Reina Krill saying, I think I have won, but I still have to deal with one more thing, which is Catwoman. Now, as we jump into the 5th chapter of this storyline, we actually pick up with Reina Krill. Now, when we pick up again with Reina Krill, we actually get the chance to see how much of a change in the character since the 1st chapter to now, or really since the last video till now. And what I mean is that she has basically changed on how she cared for her son Adam. Now remember, Adam was one of her sons, but he died in the first storyline or the first video we did, but he died. But in the 2nd volume of Catwoman, you have Reina Krill bring him back to life thanks to the Lazarus water. Now the thing was though, when he did come back to life, quotation marks there, he came back as a zombie. Now, with all that information being said though, Reina Krill no longer cares for her son. And the reason why, because now she has the ability to have more than just one zombies, but on top of that, she's able to control the zombies, and now she wants to control the city, but also bring destruction to the city. And so now with her son basically being a pointless thing to her to have around, she tells her assistant to throw her son with the rest of the zombies, but get ready to greet our guest who is arriving at the party. And what she means by that is a lot of people are about to show up for some kind of grand party, but in the back of the mansion, you have a bunch of zombies who are basically locked up in some kind of cage. Now, of course, with Adam being transported to the cage where the rest of the zombies are actually being held at, you have Adam show that he is not okay with being put somewhere away from his mother. He does not like the idea that his mother no longer cares for him. Even though he is a zombie, he wants to be free. And so you actually have Adam being able to get rid of the guards who were actually transporting him over to the cage. And right after he does get rid of them, he then releases the rest of the zombies. And so now you have these zombies free and wandering, and this is going to be a big problem for later on in the story. Getting back over to Selena Kyle, you do have Selena Kyle right now breaking down. And the reason why I say breaking down is because right now she's kind of realizing that if she's going to stop Reina Krill, she's going to have to basically leave her sister behind. And remember, her sister is physically and mentally disabled. And so with that, she's kind of like, I can't leave you behind to go chase down Reina because Aunt Linda is in the hospital. Carlos is there with her at the hospital, hoping that she survives her stab wound. There's nobody left to actually watch Maggie. And so you have Selena kind of wondering, has she failed as a hero? What can she actually do? Now, that is the moment you do have a bunch of cats appear. Now, when these cats appear, they're kind of like, hey, listen, we'll watch your sister for you. Go ahead and go stop Reina. We got your sister. Don't worry. We're here for you. Now, right after she sees the cats and realizes the cats are going to protect her sister while she goes and stop Reina, you then have Selena Kyle Rabbitfoot come out of her pocket. And when it does land near her old Catwoman outfit, the one Alfred sent to her back at the very beginning of this entire series, saying like, hey, you need to wear this suit as you go and stop Reina Krill. Like, that is what the Rabbitfoot is telling her. And so you have Selena Kyle realize what she has to do if she's going to actually save the day. But getting back over to Reina Krill, we actually do see Reina Krill right now actually very excited to see that her son Adam had broke the other zombies free. Now, with her being excited, it's really more her saying, okay, it looks like thanks to my son plans are going to have to be moved up faster a tad bit. And so with that, she does send the zombies to actually attack the rioters who are there at her mansion to show that they are very upset with what she did to the city so far. Now, on top of that, while you have the rioters now being attacked by the zombies, you then have Reina Creel actually tell her assistant to begin the process of pouring the Lazarus water into the drinks that are being served to the guests who had arrived at the party, which means that as the people are drinking and having fun, they're basically drinking Lazarus water. And this is a way for Reina to continue to have more people under her control. Now, while everyone is drinking and stuff outside the mansion, you have Selena Kyle taking out zombies left and right and actually walking up to the front door. Now, when she basically gets to the front door, you have Reina Creel look at her computer screen and realize the one person that has been causing her a lot of problems in the last few storylines, the last few days, weeks, months, whatever, has once again arrived to her mansion to ruin her plans one more time. And that is Catwoman. As we get into the final chapter of the storyline, we actually do pick up with two different things going on at the same time. So, while you have Selena Kyle fighting her way towards Reina Creel, you also basically have Aunt Linda kind of dying, because you do have some of the nurses and doctors run into her room and see if they can actually save her life, because something else began to happen with her. And so you have Carlos freaking out. And so while you have Aunt Linda basically on her deathbed and Carlos trying to make sure that his aunt does not die, you have Selena Kyle getting ready for her final battle against Reina Creel. This is the end for Joelle Jones' run on Catwoman. Now, I have to admit this right here. I like the way Joelle Jones actually wrote this section right here coming up. And what I mean by that is you do kind of have Joelle Jones give us this final battle state of mind, where basically you have Catwoman right now fighting against a wave and waves of zombies coming left and right, but she's actually able to fight through these waves of zombies to work her way towards Reina Creel, showing us that we're about to enter in the final battle between these two characters. But while you have the two characters kind of wondering where this story is about to go, it's really more of Catwoman getting in that final battle state of mind, because she's here to end everything. And so once she's able to actually get done with all the different zombies that were sent at her, it's now finally time for basically her and Reina Creel to have one last dance, one last battle. Now, we have to remember that when it comes to Reina Creel, she has no powers. And so before we're actually able to jump into the final conversation between her and Catwoman, you actually have Reina Creel send in two more zombies. Now, the two zombies she does send in is Nick and Detective Yilmaz. Now, remember, Nick was kind of like her doctor slash assistant, but Detective Yilmaz was a dirty cop who had worked for her. Now, when it comes to Nick, he is taken out just like that. But when it comes to Detective Yilmaz, we actually do see a small battle between the two characters, him and Catwoman. And the reason why, because Detective Yilmaz has been really trying to arrest Selena Kyle, try to get her away from the city. He has been trying to do a lot of different things to her in this entire run, but he was doing all of those things to basically help out Reina Creel. And so their battle does last for a couple more pages. But you actually have Selena Kyle go ahead and kill off Detective Yilmaz. Now, the reason why she actually did that is because he's already a zombie. He's basically on death's door. And so you have her say, you know what? It's best to go ahead and kill you off rather than have you here walking around as a zombie rather than an actual person. And so she stabs him. He dies right there. But then you have Selena Kyle say, it's time for me and you, Reina, to have our final conversation. Now, once you have Selena being able to actually confront Reina Krill, you have Selena share her origin story. Now, when she does share this origin story, I really want to point out that it's Selena realizing that her and Reina are very similar in some ways. And what I mean by that is you actually have Selena say that when it comes to her past life, she lived a life where she felt like the world did not want her around. The world was trying to get rid of her. The world was basically trying to kill her off. But once she found a way to survive in the world, which was, of course, being a thief, she kind of realized that she may have a chance to get the things that she actually wanted from life. But then one night, when she was trying to break into a family's home to steal a certain kind of jewelry, when she reached that jewelry box and she saw her reflection, she saw her entire life in her eyes. But not just her life, she saw her father, her mother, and she realized where she came from and where she is at now. And she couldn't let go of the past. And so what she did was she made the Catwoman persona as a way to be the person that she actually wanted to be without being Selena Kyle. Meaning that when she went out at night, being that thief, getting things she wanted to actually get, she was not out there as Selena Kyle. She was out there as Catwoman. Now, the reason why I say her and Reina Krill are so similar because when it came to Reina Krill, she also wanted the fame life. She wanted things that she could not have. The problem was, though, Reina Krill went down the wrong path, where she basically moved in with a family, killed that entire family off to gain their inheritance, and then she married a politician to make sure that she stays in that fame life. The problem was, though, she was so scared of the world looking at her in the wrong way because she thought she was ugly. She began to do surgery on her face so many times and ruined her body and ruined her face to the point where she no longer looks the way she used to look. And so it's Selena saying, you made a mask for yourself to hide your past, but that mask has broke, and now your past is catching up to you. All your mistakes are catching up to you because you were afraid, like I was, to basically live a life like you're supposed to live, like yourself. Right after you have Selena being able to share her origin to Reina Krill, that is the moment you have Adam come out of nowhere and he basically cuts his own mother's throat. And remember, he's a zombie, but he still has some kind of brain to actually use. And so he's kind of like, I had to make things right. By killing her off, I can finally begin the process of making things right. So can you, Selena. She had to die tonight. And so that is the end of the Krill family, except Adam, who's technically still alive because he is a zombie. Now, the story really does wrap up very quickly. And the reason why I say that because we jump back over to Aunt Linda and Carlos, where we kind of find out that Aunt Linda actually survived, which honestly is a great thing to see because I was really worried that she was going to die. Because again, she was stabbed and she was an old lady. Now, of course, to see her survive was a great thing to see. But once you have Carlos go into her hospital room, he does find a note that was left behind. And of course, that note was left behind by Selena Kyle saying that she's leaving forever, yada yada. She's bad with goodbyes, and she hopes that Carlos and Aunt Linda will be okay without her being there, but also she does appreciate them. But to wrap up this story, we actually do see Selena Kyle right now and her sister in a car heading back to Gotham. And so this kind of, not really kind of, it really does, it wraps up the whole idea of her leaving Gotham, going away from Gotham to have a new beginning somewhere else. But then she realized that she needs to be in Gotham. And so she does go back to Gotham. And that is where the story actually ends. So with that being said, guys, I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. And if you did, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.